Hello, I'm here conducting interviews for Higher Ground's Strong Roots project, and I want to ask you to please introduce yourself and your career goals.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Portillo, and I'm a program assistant at Sobrani Park Elementary in Oakland, and I am currently a graduate student at the University of Berkeley to get a graduate degree in education and a teaching credential.
Great, thank you. What specific tools did the Strong Roots teaching internship give you to reach and teach all students?
I think when I first got the position, I felt a strong need to be in the educational field and to be in a classroom and learn more about schools. And as I began my work in Higher Ground, I definitely got a sense of what it really takes to be in a school setting, not just in a classroom, but also knowing the different staff members that work at a school, what the different systems are that are in place in order to have a successful after-school program. So I definitely learned communication skills as far as with parents, with teachers, and other key staff in the school setting. Everything from rules about posting boards up, to how to plan a fundraiser, to how to communicate with key stakeholders in schools. So I think definitely Higher Ground gave me a lot of skills, not just for the classroom, but for surviving really in a school setting and working with diverse stakeholders and staff members at a school.
Speaking on that, what do you think are the specific tools that the Strong Roots project gave you to survive in the overall school climate, not just the classroom? You were talking a little bit about it, but I'd like for you to go into a little bit more depth.
Sure. I think one of the first things I learned is definitely making connections with the school secretary. She's very important as far as getting a lot of information that's going on in the school, a lot of the policies that are in place to do fundraisers, to post things up in the cafeteria, around the school. So that was definitely something I learned. Also, the importance of building a positive relationship with all the school teachers and with the school principal, and having that open communication about children and about our programmatic goals and our vision for our students. I think that's very important. So learning how to collaborate with them and learn about what's going on at the school site and how we can complement that, or how I as an educator, as a program assistant, can help out the school setting by also building some of our activities around what the school is doing to support their needs as well. So I think that was one of the larger skills that I learned, is building communication and building bridges with school staff and the school principal, so that there is an open communication and just a comfortable feeling of being at a school site.
Great. And I want to know a little bit more about the specific tools that you believe that the Strong Roots project has given you in order to survive your first year teaching in a classroom.
Well, I think I've learned a tremendous amount of information, not just skills, but also about myself. So I think working at Higher Ground, I had an opportunity to reflect a lot about what I had envisioned about being a teacher and what the reality is. So I think that working here gave me a nice balance as far as what I thought I would be doing as a teacher, and then when I'm in the classroom with real students and a real class to teach. And it gave me skills as far as like attention getters, about how to set up my classroom, about teaching children that they are responsible for their own learning and for the learning of other students in the class, about teaching kids to own up to their classroom and make that kind of their second home. So in my class, I definitely used the stations that Higher Ground recommended, and then I added kind of my own flavor to it, and definitely used a lot of the tools such as the equity sticks, the face cards, name tags, agendas, agreements that we had in our program to kind of support my own teaching style. But I think as far as some of the major skills I learned is, one, to always listen to your students, because they are also assessing you as a teacher. You're not just assessing them. And also to meet the needs of each student and try to always listen to what, I'm sorry, I'm getting off.
It's okay. You're doing great. I really like hearing about all the specifics that you've learned to manage a classroom, so feel free to speak on it as
Okay.
much as you want.
So I think as far as skills is definitely listening to my students. They are assessing me and observing them and taking note on what interests them, and also just to make the classroom feel like their second home.
Great. I want to know, in other internships, I know that the student teachers rarely get the opportunity to really write their own lessons, assess their lessons. So I'm interested in knowing more a little bit about what specific opportunities did the Strong Roots Project give you to plan, implement, and assess lessons?
I think when I first came in, I supported the launching of the literacy program for the after-school program. So that meant looking at different grade levels and coming up with fun activities that the kids could do, but that still taught them a lot of skills that will support their learning in the classroom. So I definitely came up with a list of different activities for different grade levels, and also specifically for my own, and got to hear from other tutors about how it was going and how we could modify the lessons so that it could fit the needs of their students. And then I also had the opportunity to modify the CST test prep material that we had, and we included de-stressors such as meditation, freeze stands, writing, artwork, and we modified it so that the entire class could work on a math problem or a language arts problem, and then review key test strategies while doing those problems with our students, and at the same time got to talk with our different tutors to figure out what would be the best way to modify that so that it can meet the needs of where their students were at.
Great. What specific opportunities did the Strong Roots Project give you to learn, follow, and successfully achieve predetermined classroom climate goals, such as I know for after-school programs, there's the SAPQA standards. So with that, what do you think that the Strong Roots Project gave you to actually do that successfully?
Well, I think the higher ground tools were really aligned with the district policies and the evaluators' policies on that end. So every tool that we use in our class, such as the equity sticks, roles and responsibilities, the stations in our classrooms, all of that aligns really with what the district is looking for. And I think that it gave me a real insight into how I as a teacher could work with kind of policies and evaluation tools that are out there to really modify my classroom so that it complements a lot of the teaching that goes into my classroom. So I think Higher Ground taught me to learn how to take all these different evaluation tools or policies and have it complement me instead of intimidate me and make me feel like I have to change everything that I do in my classroom. And so that's one of the key things that I'm taking with me, is learning how to look at all these evaluation tools, district policies, and say, okay, what would be the best thing to take from this so that I can complement it to my teaching. And that's something that I'm really grateful for, because we really sat with our site manager and went through each of the tools that the district requires and said, well, this is how we meet this specific outcome or requirement. So I think that was really helpful.
Great. How does it feel to be a part of an organization that is among the top performing programs within Oakland Unified School District?
It feels awesome. I think one of the things I always say is that it feels really amazing to be a person of color and being in a room where people that are making the decisions are also people of color that reflect the community that I come from and that reflects the communities that our kids come from. And I think that's very powerful in an organization, and it's rarely seen when it comes to nonprofit work in education or even after school programming. And I know that the directors of the organization really strive to look for people that come from similar backgrounds as the kids that they are serving, and that highly believe that our kids come in with so much knowledge and potential already, and we are really here just to build a bridge for them so that they can walk it and see how amazing they are. So I feel honored and grateful to be given the opportunity to also bring my own ideas and share my own knowledge to Higher Ground.
Great. And my final question for you is, what are some of your dreams for your students when you become a public school teacher?
Well, I think one of the biggest dreams I have is to instill in them that anyone can learn, that everyone has the potential to learn, and that everything is learned. No one is born a scientist or a teacher or a musician. Everything you do in life, you learn it. And so I want my kids to always carry that with them and to always just explore and question everything that they learn as well, and to have that curiosity. I feel like oftentimes the traditional education system tends to quiet down that curiosity in kids, and I feel like if there's anything that they take with me being a teacher is question everything you learn, be curious, and know that everything that you want to do, if it's learning science and be a scientist, a doctor, that you have to work hard and learn it, because everything you do in life is you learn it.
Thank you so much for your interview today.